My name is Aimée Cécile. This is my 21 days journey with Iboga. This is how 21 days of microdosing Iboga transformed my PMDD journey as a rider. Imagine emotional roller coasters crashing through your body. Sharp climbs of joy followed by sudden drops into despair. It is like experiencing the high of a cocaine rush followed by an intense crash. My life used to look like this, every month, for 10 days. And the worst part? It felt like there was no way off this ride. PMDD, or Premenstrual Dysphoric Disorder, is a severe form of PMS, premenstrual syndrome. It is a hormonal condition that affects approximately 5% of menstruating women during the luteal phase. For as long as I can remember, this monthly affliction has been the unwelcome editor of my life. As a rider, PMDD was more than a physical or emotional burden. A thief stole my creativity and left me grappling with a blank page. Over the years, I have tried everything: medication, dietary changes, exercise, mindfulness. Despite the lack of lasting relief, I never gave up my search for a solution. Each new attempt was a ray of hope, a step closer to managing my PMDD. My determination to find a way to manage my PMDD was unwavering, and it's a testament to the strength we all have within us. I found solace in the words of Eckhart Tolle, one of my favorite philosophers. In his book The Power of Now, Tolle describes PMDD as a manifestation of what he calls the pain body. He describes this as a field of negative energy within us. This energy carries the suffering we've accumulated throughout our lives. He explains that every emotional pain we experience leaves behind a residue. This residue, he says, merges with the pain of our past, forming the pain body. Tolle's insights made me realize there was something much deeper at play. At that point, these words were mere words, not a cure. It wasn't until I encountered a little-known plant from my homeland that I found a glimmer of hope, a ray of light in the darkness of my PMDD journey. While visiting Cameroon, I came across an article by chance. The topic dealt with the rising issue of drug addiction in Central Africa. The piece hit close to home, as a family member of mine has struggled with cocaine addiction for years. As I read, a word caught my eye: Iboga. I was also aware of the legal and ethical issues surrounding the use of Iboga, especially in the context of its potential for addiction treatment. Iboga is a powerful plant medicine native to the forests of Central Africa. Shamans have used it for centuries in traditional Bwiti ceremonies in Gabon. Its psychoactive component, ibogaine, induces profound, introspective visions. This plant was being hailed as a miraculous treatment for addiction. How had I never heard of this before, especially since it grows in my country? My curiosity piqued, and I began to investigate this mysterious plant further. A quick search led me to a website called Get Ibogaine. I dialed the number listed on the site. A man answered, and I explained that I was visiting Cameroon and wanted to learn more about Iboga. I was particularly interested in understanding its effects and the risks involved. Julius was patient, sweeping away all my doubts, questions after questions. Intrigued by our conversation's end, I wanted to meet him in person. The next day, I found myself navigating the chaotic streets of Banaberi, a neighborhood on the outskirts of Douala. It was a mix of excitement and intuition. What was I getting myself into? My intuition led me to the fact that it can help me with anxiety. When I arrived, Julius greeted me as a professional, not a shady dealer I had feared. His knowledge and understanding of Iboga reassured me that I was in good hands. We have discussed my interest in traditional Bwiti ceremonies, but Julius suggested an alternative: microdosing. Instead of diving into a full-blown psychedelic experience, I would take 1 gram of Iboga roots barks every day before 7 a.m. Julius explained that this could help ease me into the plant's effects. He also cautioned me about potential side effects such as nausea, dizziness, and increased heart rate. And this would allow my body to adjust without overwhelming my system. This man's assertiveness gave me the confidence to try it. A few minutes later, I returned home with 21 grams of Iboga root bark powder dispatched in 21 small plastic bags. I started my microdosing journey unsure of what to expect. I remember it was 2 days after my luteal phase kicked in. At 7 a.m., right after my meditation, I opened one plastic bag, poured the brown powder into a glass of lukewarm water, and then swallowed it. It hit my tongue with an intense bitterness and a numbing aftertaste that was hard to shake off. As the plant took effect, warm energy spread through my body, heightening my senses and making me slightly detached. The next few days were subtle. There were no dramatic changes, just a slight shift in my mental state. I felt enthusiastic and more grounded. By day 3, I quit coffee. The fatigue that usually dominated my luteal phase seemed to disappear. I was pleasantly surprised by the initial positive effects of microdosing. By day 5, I noticed that the usual irritability and anxiety were less intense. It was as if a storm raging inside me for years was finally starting to subside. As the days passed, the benefits became more pronounced. By day 11, I began to sleep better, too, a welcome relief from the insomnia that often accompanies PMDD. Creatively, I felt more in tune with my inner voice, the one that wants the best for me. The fog that usually clouded my mind during PMDD's worst moments lifted. By day 15, I could focus on the nuances of my work. My writing took on a new depth and clarity, opening up new possibilities and perspectives. I began revisiting old drafts I had abandoned, surprised by how fast I could see the path forward. I wasn't procrastinating anymore. The anxiety that often accompanied my deadlines was still there, but it was manageable. Instead of fearing not being good enough, I was able to push through, trusting in the process and in my ability to shape the story word by word. The constant chatter of self-doubt that usually accompanied my writing sessions began to quiet. I wasn't writing at a furious pace, but the words flowed more. Iboga's emotional clarity allowed me to dig deeper into my characters, themes, and psyche. I found myself writing with a new level of vulnerability. After 21 days, a new chapter begins. As I reached the end of the 21-day microdosing journey, I took a step back to reflect. The experience hadn't been a miracle cure but had given me transformative and grounding tools. I also considered the potential long-term effects of microdosing Iboga, including its impact on my mental health and creativity. My relationship with writing had shifted, from one of struggle to one of partnership. The Iboga helped me see my PMDD for what it was, a part of my life, but not the whole story. Microdosing Iboga didn't just help me write, it helped me rewrite the narrative around my creative life. My next step is to try microdosing Iboga TA, total alkaloid, composed of 45% ibogaine. I would love to explore my spiritual side more and dive into myself. To every woman battling PMDD, remember that healing is possible, whether through natural remedies like Iboga or embracing your femininity. Trust your strength, honor your journey, and know peace is within reach. If you need more insights about Iboga, visit Get Ibogaine to learn about this powerful plant medicine. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Aimée.